Hello people, I'm Jaby KOAY, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Hi guys.
We're continuing on with Sacred Games, episode 6 of season 2. This has already been stated with every single episode leading up to now, but I'm going to state it just in case this is the first one you're joining us for. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're only going to see 10 minutes of the episode and our reaction with that because of copyright limitations. If you're watching this on our Patreon, you can see the entire reaction, the whole thing, but not with the Netflix window. You'll have to open up that yourself in a separate window, and it's like you're watching it with us. You know, we're all hanging out together watching this show. If this happens to get blocked, which I hope it doesn't, it shouldn't, because ACHARA's been editing these and been very diligent about how she goes about that to ensure the likelihood that it won't. But if it does, you can find this on the Patreon page. Here we go. Let's check this out, episode 6.
सर किधर जा रहे हैं सर आप? सर आप ऐसे नहीं जा सकते सर। सर आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं?
How do you get in?
Just kick that shit off.
There we go.
Just right there.
गुरुजी जिंदा है। यही कहीं है मुझे पता है।
सच जानने के लिए तैयार हो?
Well, that's high tech.
Whoa! Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Take one.
No.
समझने में आसानी होगी। ले लो, वरना ये discomfort paranoia बन जाएगा। The plan is simple.
अगले 9 साल आपको दुनिया में सिर्फ तमस बढ़ाना है। हमें दुनिया की हर कमजोरी का फायदा उठाना है। सब दुनिया खत्म करने में लगे हैं। अनजाने में ही हमारे साथी पाकिस्तान भारत पे हमला करेगा। बदले में पाकिस्तान खत्म। सब पागल कुत्ते की तरह एक दूसरे को काटने दौड़ेंगे।
पागल हो तुम सब के सब। बीमार हो।
बीमार तो ये दुनिया है सरताज।
दुनिया को कैसे खत्म कर सकते हो?
दुनिया को हम खत्म नहीं कर रहे। दुनिया खुद अपने आप को खत्म कर रही है। हम तो सिर्फ कैटलिस्ट हैं।
कोई नहीं मानेगा ये सब।
दिलबाग सिंह मानते थे। जिस दिन गुरुजी ने नई दुनिया का प्लान हमारे सामने रखा था, ये उसी दिन की फोटो है। Join us, Sartaj. Finish what your father started.
Damn. She leveled his ass just now.
Yeah, she did.
That was like a 27 mic drops in a row.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
like he had nothing he could say in response, really, because
everything's true. It's like, yeah, we're destroying the world, but do we really need to start a nuclear holocaust?
Right. I mean, it's destroying itself. But why?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It's helping Gaia Theory along.
Yeah.
जाना ही होगा। लेकिन हम जल्दी ही मिलेंगे। सतयुग में।
गुरुजी ने समाधि लिया दुनिया के लिए। सबको बताया कि वो मर गए, ताकि चुपचाप अपना तपस्या कर सकें।
अरे साफ साफ बोलना, क्या बोल रहे?
शायद नहीं बचेगा ये शहर।
अच्छा, तू जो कह रहा था वो उनके पास, किनके पास?
I was paranoid.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought it was real.
Yeah, me too.
मोल से लग रहा है कि it can hold about 20 to 30 of those booster tubes and at least 30 kilograms of fuel. इसका impact बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, Joseph.
कितना ज़्यादा?
I am guessing that they're aiming at about 80 kilotons का yield.
Wow.
Hiroshima was 20.
God damn.
Wow.
हेलो। तेरी तीसरी टांग भी काट के गए क्या?
अबे ये चूत के नाई। बहुत गांड मस्ती चढ़ी है तेरे को। कौन है तू? आप ही
बोलना चूतिए। कहाने का है?
आओ। वेलकम भाई, वेलकम। 13 साल बाद आया भाई। 13 साल की दिवाली एक साथ मनाएंगे, भेंचोद।
Sup, Jojo?
Nawazuddin Siddiqui is so good because the change in his behavior is so subtle, but he definitely feels older.
Yeah, and like he's been through something.
Yeah.
You know?
क्या हुआ?
मेरी छोटी बहन थी, मैरी। उसे वो प्रोड्यूसर के बेटे समीर से साला सच्ची प्यार हो गया था। कितने साल तक मैरी और मैंने साथ ऑडिशन दिया, एक साथ रिजेक्ट हुए, और साली एकदम उसकी लाइफ तो हिंदी पिक्चर का स्टोरी बन गया। प्यार, लीड रोल, साली को सब साथ में मिल गया। चल गई मैं।
Oh, this is her betrayal.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my god.
Is that like self-flagellation? Is that what? Okay.
Yeah, she's punishing herself.
जो हिरोशिमा पे गिरा था उसकी कैपेसिटी 15 किलो टन थी। इसकी कैपेसिटी 120 किलो टन है, यानी कि 8 गुना ज्यादा तगड़ा। 8 लाख लोग तो पहले 1 घंटे में खत्म हो जाने। उसके बाद हिंदुस्तान के लिए 8 पुश्ते सड़ी गली निकलेंगी, वो अलग। इंशाल्लाह।
Is it at all possible that Gaitonde faked his own death?
I don't know. I mean, he shot himself in the head.
I know, but like, Guruji managed to fake his death, so it's like they've inserted the idea now that people can fake their own death.
Right. I think if you were going to fake your own death, you wouldn't do shooting yourself in the head.
प्लान को रोकने का अब एक ही तरीका बचा था, पैसे को रोकना।
गायतोंडे, ये सब क्या लफड़ा है?
तेरा सुरक्षा जैकेट है। अभी अपन को दुनिया को भी बचाने का था और खुद को भी। गोपाल मठ के अपने पुराने कचरे के ढेर पर बंटी ने मॉल बनाया था, जो कभी चालू नहीं हुआ। अपन ने उसकी पार्किंग में अपना बंकर बनाया, ताकि गुरुजी का वो सफेद चिलगोजा आकर अपनी गांड न चोद दे। ऐ सुन, अपन ने सोच लिया, ये दुनिया नहीं रहेगी।
अपन बोलने वाला पुलिस को।
जिसको बोलना है, बोलो। सब हमारे साथ है।
अपन की लाइफ में जब भी कोई लोचा हुआ है, किसी न किसी बाप की वजह से हुआ है। ये बाप लोग होते ही ऐसे सरदार जी।
What about his father, though? Oh.
सिर्फ बाप का दिया हुआ सामान फेंकने से कुछ नहीं होगा। जितना दूर करोगे ये लोग उतना ही और अंदर घुसते हैं। इसलिए अपन लास्ट में सिर्फ आप पे भरोसा किया था। आप बचाओगे शहर को।
सर वो आवेश का भाई साहब वो मिल गया है सर, आप जल्दी आ जाइए।
मैं आ रहा हूँ।
Oh. Does he not have a badge or something? Oh my god, that's the kid.
क्या है इस दुनिया में बचाने लायक? कोई एक वजह है तुम्हारे पास दुनिया को बचाने की?
Oh gosh, is he broken now? Woo!
Christ.
Well, that was another intense episode. Jeez. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah. That was a lot.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Where do we start?
I just need a second.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. I think what makes it so difficult to process is the notion that these kinds of things actually likely happen. And there's like nothing you can do about it. And I can see why, like, you see what's going on in Sartaj's head there.
Yeah.
And you see what's informing all that. You know, people get irrational when they're emotional.
Yeah.
And you can just see what's going on in his head. It's very frightening because this kind of ripple effect is happening everywhere. And it's what informs the chaos throughout the world, right?
Well, it's basically the straw that broke the camel's back because he's had so much of that happen to him. Like, he is inherently someone who wants to do good. He's witnessed so many people die on his watch. And now, more and more, he's seeing the ugliness of humanity, that it's making Guruji's argument make sense.
That's what we're suspecting from that ending.
Yeah.
Is that he's given in and he's crossing the line now into the other side. We won't know for sure until we watch the next episode.
Yeah.
But it certainly seems to be going that direction. He's lost. Man, that was intense.
That really hit you harder than I expected it to. I was horrified by the scene with the kids killing that other kid. Like, that was awful. You've clearly been really shook up by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk.
Okay.
You talk.
I guess I'll take point on this one.
That's just so horrible.
Yeah, it is so horrible. So many things in the episode are leading up to that climax. You know, last episode you were asking, where'd the kid go? And I knew that they were going to bring him back, but wow, what a way to bring that back and just emphasize the ugliness of the whole situation, you know, like that we hurt each other all in the name of what? Religion? In the name of we're offended by something that someone else did and now we have to hurt them so much that they die. I mean, it's true what Guruji's argument is that we're already killing ourselves.
You know, I've been watching so many science videos again recently, like those like nutshell science videos that they give you information in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, and you learn a little gem, a little nugget. You're not really getting the full breadth of the science, but you get an idea that you can then ponder and it percolates. And what's been happening lately is I've been watching these videos and it makes me think about all the chaos going on in the world. And I'm like, this is kind of hilarious that we give so much concern and we give so much credence to these things that cause us to feel this kind of conflict with one another. And you take a step back to the pale blue dot perspective,
right.
You know, Carl Sagan's pale blue dot, and it's like, this is fucking hilarious that we care so much about these things that we attribute value to, and it causes us to hurt one another like that. That's what messes with me. I think that conflict like this is just naturally born in us. It's naturally born into nature, and that's what's scary. That's what's even scarier, I think, is that we are prone to this conflict. From the beginning, we have been like this. We have our tribes, and it's like, if you're in that tribe and I'm in this tribe, don't fuck with my tribe or I'm gonna kill you. And it's been like that from the beginning. You'd think at this point we'd be able to grow beyond that, but 1/3 of our brain is still that primitive brain, that tribal brain that's like, I'm protecting my tribe, you stay in yours, or I'm gonna kill you.
I feel like as people, if we want to achieve, I guess, a certain level of enlightenment, it's a constant battle against that part of our brains and that part of our nature. And just remembering that we're the interconnectedness of it all. Like, we've recently been watching Avatar in our downtime. I know this is like absolutely nothing to do with this, but I feel like that notion of, you know, the interconnectedness of people, of life, like, that's important to remember, instead of like trying to divide ourselves, which is so easy to do in this day and age. It's just to remember, like, we're all humans, we're all people. And
I don't think the people watching this show, I mean, most of the people watching this show are thinking like that. For instance, like documentaries, right? The whole point of documentaries is to spread this idea of enlightenment on a particular topic. But the thing is, the people who would be inclined to watch a documentary on that topic already believe that thing.
Right.
And so you accomplish literally nothing. It's a zero-sum game because you're not able to move the needle. You're literally just preaching to the choir on the documentaries you make, when the whole goal is to start a movement. The only one I can think of that has had any real world impact at all is the silly one, which is Super Size Me. That's the only thing that's had any kind of actual impact on the world. I'm sure you get your animal-based documentaries that have some degree of impact, where people stop eating meat or stop eating beef.
Yeah, I was going to use those as an example.
But that doesn't have much of it. You're swaying people that are already kind of moving that direction anyway.
Right.
That's why I say Super Size Me. It's silly, but that's the only one that's really had any kind of real impact.
So what is the connection with this then?
I'm saying that it kind of makes me sad, because part of the point of showing that is to help spread this idea of, look how we're hurting each other.
Right.
Can you stop? Can you just stop? I wish it would have an impact, I guess is what I'm ultimately saying. I wish this kind of, because it hits me deep. I'm like, this is so horrible. And I wish that it would have an impact on changing people's perspectives. I would love to hear that in the comments. If someone, formerly had a certain thought that they were trained to believe with their microcosm, their society, their environmental influences.
Mm-hmm.
If they were trained to believe a certain thing and they see a show like this and they're like, whoa, blew the lid off the pot there, and now I'm like totally looking at things differently, I would love to hear that in the comments, because that to me is the point of a show like this. It's not just to entertain you with this drama, with the noir, with the way it's shot. It's not just amusement. It's also designed to make you think and potentially change your perspective on things. And I just wonder if it's accomplished that at all.
Going back to Guruji's plan, when it was being explained in the episode, I thought, wow, that is just genius. Like using...
Mad genius.
Yeah, not good genius, obviously, but mad genius. He knows human nature. Yeah. All he's doing is pitting different countries against each other.
Giving it a nudge. Yeah,
giving it a nudge, being the catalyst and getting it all going. And you think that if something like that actually happened today, I saw you just like nodding, agreeing, like, yeah, play by play, that is pretty much how it would happen. Like if someone set off a nuclear bomb anywhere, be that in India or any country, other countries would come in and you'd have World War III. And now with nuclear weapons, it would basically just be like, boom, self-destruct mode.
The thing is, Pakistan is a proxy for these other countries, right? I forget who Russia is tied to, but I'm pretty sure China's tied to Pakistan. They have a vested interest in what goes on there. And at one point, America did too. I don't know what's going on with the relationship between U.S. and Pakistan right now. I honestly don't know where that is. I thought that U.S. has shifted its loyalties towards India. I have no idea what the fuck is going on politically. It's because Trump, recently said something about Pakistan. So I'm not sure. But the point being is everyone has a vested interest in what's going on because they stand to profit from these regions.
Right.
And proxy wars are a very scary thing because it's like you always have people that will suffer in the regions that are a proxy for another region. Oftentimes, most of the people have nothing to do with what the people up here are saying. That's what fucks with me. You have these people, the 1% on top, who are deciding what happens for the fate of everybody else beneath them, the 99%. And 99%, like, if you just let them be, they're not gonna have that kind of vitriol in them. It's coming from the top down. And that's what messes with me. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do to help the world be more objective. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's just, this reminds me of how frustrated I am. That's what I'm ultimately driving at. It's like, I wish we could do something, but...
Well,
this is how the world has been. Like,
don't.
Yeah, this is how the world has been for like from the beginning, and it's only
thousands of years.
Yeah, well, a million years, but it's gotten progressively worse with our weaponry, with our arsenal that we use to punch one another in the face, right? And take over each other's property and each other's land. There's this thing called the Great Filter, I think, that I was watching in one of those science videos I was mentioning, the Kurzgesagt videos. Yeah. Well, the first notion is the Fermi paradox, which is if there are aliens out there, where are they? And the Great Filter comes into conversation at that point because it's like, okay, so when you have advanced species, the assumption is either that they haven't gotten there yet, or they, for some reason, there is a reason why space travel is not possible, because basically they annihilate themselves. That species grows to a point that the different factions annihilate themselves, like we're on the brink of right now. So the Great Filter is either behind us, meaning we are gonna go into space, or it's in front of us and we are on the brink of self-destruction. I think that's the binary thought. I'm not exactly sure if I've articulated it and regurgitated it correctly. But that's essentially the notion, and that's what this show is ultimately driving at, is the Great Filter. Like, it's in front of us, and we're gonna, Gaia theory. The whole notion of hiding in bunkers, though, is kind of silly to me. Like, what do you?
I mean, that happens in science fiction all the time. I've read plenty of books where.
But what is the point? To me, a big a point of life is community. If you have one other person in a bunker with you, or you're by yourself, that's not community. That's, what do they call it in jail? Solitary confinement.
With one other person?
No, with you by yourself. Gaitonde was in his bunker. If the bombs went off and he's by himself, you just go mad.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why solitary confinement is such a scary thing for people in prison is because you'd rather be in an 8x8 block next to someone
who you hate,
rather than by yourself, because that's what makes you crazy.
Well, yeah, because we're social creatures.
Exactly. And so community is part of the point of life. It might be the point of life, is community and, self-actualization. And self-actualization with your community, because the only way you can identify self-actualization is through community. Like, your comparison to one another.
Gotcha.
Right? That's why the bunker thing is so silly to me. Because I know people think like that, but it's like, if there's a nuclear holocaust, you're not going to want to stay in that bunker. You'd rather just kill yourself.
Yeah, it depends on the strength of, your character, I guess, and how long you can handle being alone. But I'm pretty sure at some point you just be like, yep, let me just blow my brains out right now, or just walk outside and let the earth take care of me. But
I can't think of another Netflix show that has made me feel this emotional. That scene fucked me up. It didn't at first, but then it percolated. I'm just like, God damn. It's because it's so real. And I can't even talk about anything else that happened in the show, because that scene just grabbed me by the throat and wouldn't let go.
Right.
And it just kept going, and I'm like, fuck.
Can I talk about other things from the show?
Yeah, you're editing it, so it's fine.
Okay. Well, I don't know if enjoyed is the right word, but I'm just gonna say it. I enjoyed finding out exactly what happened with Jojo and Mary, because that's been kind of in the background all throughout this season. Watching that and seeing her betrayal, I can understand why she's been so hard on herself this whole time, because I think if I was in her shoes, I would be the same. It calls back to that self-destructive nature that you keep bringing up about this episode, which is, she can't stand to see her sister succeed, even though she loves her sister, and then she's jealous, and that's a very human emotion, and then she sabotages it. Her sister commits suicide as a result.
Whole thing, except for the suicide, that whole thing to me sounds so real.
100%. Yeah.
Like the way she's pushing her, her sister to, we're doing this together. Yeah. And then her sister succeeds and she doesn't quite succeed. Like that, I can see that. That story was told in the span of a minute. And I'm like, I see it all. Yeah. I see the whole 5 years that they went through up to that point and how these things shift in a second, and then she's using her sex as a weapon to fuck her sister over, and then her sister goes and commits. I don't think her sister would have committed suicide. I do see the divide that would happen between her and her sister, and how that could permanently cause a rift between her and her sister. But I don't see her sister committing suicide.
Well, I mean, we don't know an awful lot about her sister. Like, some people are just a lot more sensitive and prone to that, and they don't have the inner strength to be like, you know what, screw you. And that behavior was super shitty, and I'm not talking to you anymore for, you know, a while or whatever. I feel like ultimately, I don't know, I have a sister who I'm very close to, and I think that I would feel so hurt and betrayed if I found that she did that. But I think that eventually, given a few years, I would be like, what were we even fighting for?
Yeah, but what I want to say, just to double back a little bit, is that I liked it for the show. I don't buy it in real life, but for the narrative of what the show's doing, I like it.
Yeah, it's perfect, and it perfectly explains why you did it again, didn't you?
I was holding out.
Burping
I was
like
holding out for a long time,
serious
okay?
moments, jeez, okay. No, but like, it totally makes sense why she's been punishing herself for so long, and it was a lovely moment between her and Gaitonde where he's kind of like, you know, you gotta forgive yourself. You gotta let it go.
See, that's another crazy part of the show, is you have these two really messed up sideways characters, and they found one another in this punch-drunk love kind of scenario, and he's kissing her self-inflicted scar.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm emphasizing on that, because the whole thing is like, you know, when you're young and dating and stuff, you're trying to find the perfect other person, but the whole thing is finding the perfect kind of broken, right?
Jaby wisdom.
No, you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, we've talked about this on this channel many times.
Yeah.
It's like you're broken, and you find someone else who's, you know, the perfect kind of broken that you can deal with, and you are loving their imperfections.
Yeah, well, I think that love is being able to look at the other person and recognizing them for who they are, seeing their darkness, seeing their flaws, and saying, I love you anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I love you regardless.
Yeah. No, but like, being able to appreciate someone's imperfections is a big thing. And that to me is a big sign that if you're able to go there, if you're able to recognize that, it's a big sign of maturity, number one. And then secondly, it's a big sign of like your strong passion for that person and love for that person. Gaitonde could have just had a one-night stand with her, but to me that was a moment, even if it was fleeting, a moment of love.
Yeah, it was a deep connection because they've had this deep friendship for a long time, and even if this sexual moment between them is just them coming together in an expression of love, and maybe afterwards it's just back to purely platonic again.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I think that's really lovely. I am still super duper curious about what the heck is going on with Dilbag Singh, because I am 100% convinced that something else is going to come back into play, and Sartaj is going to learn something about his father that's going to change something else in the storyline.
I mean, he's already on that path, partly because he saw his father was there, and then that thing at the end was the catalyst that sort of seems to be pushing him over the edge.
Exactly, because he's like, my father is not the man who I thought he was. There's this whole secret side to him, and then finding out that supposedly because of this picture he was in on this plan all along. Like, it messed him up, and then witnessing that kid getting beat to death just pushed him over the edge. But I just have this feeling that he's gonna discover something, and it's gonna be like, you know, his dad was trying to get out of it, or his dad had some secret information squirreled away somewhere.
Well, thank goodness that we don't have to hold on to this curiosity for too long.
That's true.
Let's end this video because I gotta go pee. So, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Be sure to let us know your feelings in the comments below, and check out ACHARA KIRK and the Jabs if you feel like doing that. Thank you so much for being a Jabster, part of this KOAY family. And check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, vlogs, and consider supporting us on Patreon if you feel like doing that, to see our full-length reaction without interruption, without cuts, as well as other things like music video reactions that we have not posted publicly. And you'll also help us reach some goals that we're trying to hit. So that's it for now. I'm Jaby KOAY. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.